What is up, everyone? We're going to be reviewing the market today for September 8th, 2025. No News Monday. Let's get it. Start reviewing. So, I'm all blurry. So, let's jump right into things. I don't have a ton of time, and, the more I do these backtesting sessions, the more I realize that these backtesting sessions during the day, I got to keep them somewhat short because I got to make the market recap. I got to finish everything else I need to do, and then I just got to, move on with my day because otherwise then I end up staying up way too late. So, should be pretty short, but we're going to be reviewing everything hopefully in detail. So, as much as we can, let's go ahead and jump into price action. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah. Let's start out with spreadsheet. How did it go straight to my... Anyway. So, man, I've been missing trades in here, but that's whatever. I'm just going to try and be perfect from now on because I literally can't remember all the trades perfectly. So I had 2 trades today. And then let's also pull up Reflect IQ. So the first thing I'm doing is putting all my trades in my journal. So hopefully this is not going to be too long. So what I took today was a Monday. And let's drag this down. Yeah, hopefully I can start to be more consistent with this. Whoops. And then the first trade of the day was inverse value gap on the 2-minute. And then I had my first strike model that I took after that. That was a crazy trade. 1 minute aligned with the 5-second. Actually, it was 1 minute aligned with the 15-second.
It's me.
Yo, what up?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
Back
I
testing.
like your room.
You want to say hi?
It smells good.
I mean, no one's watching right now, but
Hi.
I still live stream it anyways.
I was just gonna ask you if you wanted to go to Gravity Factory with us.
Right now?
No, in like an hour or two.
I'm just so busy.
Please.
You want me to?
Yes, you've got like an hour to spare.
She wants to get to know her brother-in-law.
I mean, we should do it this weekend because I'm genuinely.
We can go
always
again
so
this
busy.
weekend.
Let's just do it this weekend.
Okay.
Because I work 24/7. Like my
Would
work,
you go to like...
my work that I do is like for me, it's just as important as my work during the day for
That's
my dad.
totally fair.
And so it's like, it's hard to,
You're trying to get your side
compromise
hustle, right?
exactly. And so
Yeah,
on
take
the
it work
weekend,
24/7.
on the weekend we should, but like I'm genuinely
Okay.
just trying to work.
Okay.
So thanks
So-
though.
Do you like, have you ever been to Rigby Lake? Like paddleboarding?
Oh, that would be so fun.
Okay, I've got a paddleboard. We should go.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay.
All
Alright,
right.
I'll close your door.
Okay, see ya. All right. D-Trader, you should do it. No, bro. I'm locked in, bro. Nah. Dude, I'm locked in. All right, back to what we were doing. So, it's not family first. I need to finish what I need to do today first. And then if I had extra time, I would like to do that, but I don't. So, I want to do it on the weekend, Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot of people like that. That's just my one, essentially my brother and his girlfriend. Get what you're saying, D-Trader, but dude, I mean, my work for myself, I really take it seriously, and I mean, I'm trying to be really consistent, so, but I get what you're saying. Okay, let's keep going here. So, yeah, we're going to mark out the trades. So the first trade I took that was not so good was essentially, let's get rid of everything. I get what you're saying, though. Was essentially, I was thinking that we had this as a giant accumulation range and that we had this breaker and that maybe we'd push up into this breaker and then essentially get accumulation, manipulation, distribution. That was kind of my first idea in the morning. Now, I need to... hopefully this doesn't take too long to mark up, but I was thinking accumulation, and then then manipulation. And in hindsight, in the 2 minute, it looks okay, but then in hindsight, it's very obvious that this is no longer a sweep, right? This is no longer a sweep. This is a displacement higher. So even though this 2 minute inverse, this was not a sweep. Well, yeah, it wasn't an obvious sweep. So anyway, so I was thinking this was accumulation. And then I tried to take this 2 minute inversion. I thought maybe I'd at least get a break even, but that did not happen. And the reason I liked this was because it also was the first representative for value gap that got inversed. So I was thinking, okay, that should just give me bias. But I was so wrong. And in hindsight, I think it was not that great of a trade, and I think I could have been more thoughtful about it, and I did not need to take it because this was not an obvious sweep. But anyway, let's go ahead and screenshot this, put it in the journal. This was the first trade. It was a loss, but I then took a huge win later in the day, like one of the biggest trades in a long time. So you can't really be too upset about this, right? I was probably just going to go for, I don't even know what I was going to go for. I was probably going to trail, but yeah. This ended up being a loss. Let's just screenshot this real quick. D-Trader, I had one of my biggest trades I've had in a long time, dude. It was like, I hit like a 4 or 5 R, dude. It was insane, bro. It was insane. I took one loss, though, before it. It was this, and in hindsight, this was not that great of a trade. But you know what? We live and we keep getting better. But the other trade was so good, dude. So let's go ahead and screenshot this. So yeah, 2 minute inverse value. I thought maybe we'd at least get break even. And you know, in hindsight, there just was not an obvious sweep. So that's the main thing I'll say. Let's go ahead and screenshot this and then move on, right? And then journal it. Okay. Here, in hindsight, this was not an obvious sweep at all. It was clearly displacing higher, and even though I went in with the idea that we were going to get AMD from the highs down to the lows, once it was obvious we were displacing, right, higher and not manipulating, I should have called it quits on that idea, and instead I took a bad not so good trade. Did not have an obvious sweep because I was married to my idea. Yeah, I'll just call it that. I'll just leave it at that. Right, so there's that. So post trade, yeah, I'm not giving that approval, unfortunately, and that's just, you know, whatever, right? I was probably gonna target. The average is probably gonna be like average 1.25, and then final TP was gonna be like 2, something like that. But yeah, that did not work. But then I took this just beautiful trade that happened next after this. It was literally, I think it was like 4 or 5 R. I think it was 5 R. I'm just gonna call it 450% because I'm not sure. It was like in between 4 and 5 R. But it was just, oh my gosh. So this was at 938. Hopefully Reflect IQ fixed their servers. Because, yeah, I want to be able to upload trades again. So here, I'm just gonna screenshot this. So there we go. Yeah, not my best trade, but whatever. All right. So this was 9:38 IFBG 2-minute live. Okay. Whoops. So let's put both the trades in. What? What happened to my custom trades, bro? They got rid of them. Oh, it's because I'm not logged in. Am I not logged in? No, I am logged in. Anyway, let's just rewrite it down. This was a IPG. Well, I guess maybe their website is down. Maybe we gotta get rid of these other ones. What the heck? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'll have to add these another time because it's not letting me add them. What the heck? So it must be just broken right now. Which is fine. That's why I have my own personal journal here. So, okay. So, let's go ahead and put this here. I gotta do better at journaling, recording everything down. It's just hard. It's hard, man. It's hard to do everything every day. But I gotta do it. And then, yeah, just gotta get the bare minimum in, record this down, and then move on. Okay. So, sorry, this part's boring, guys. Not much I can say about that except for, yeah, this is boring. But I gotta do it. And then this one was all right, there we go. So there's the execution. So I really do want to be a lot more consistent with this, making sure that everything gets put in every single day. Because it's times like this where when Reflect IQ goes down, I don't want to have to not have my own backup. So, you know what? It is what it is. That was so nice, dude. So, and then I'll put these in, and then I'll journal the next trade, and then I'll be done. So I think I took all off at 4.5, so. Execution. Oh yeah. Okay. Hang on, guys. This, like I said, this part's boring. Not much I can say other than we gotta record it, right? I gotta record this down, but I'd rather not do it and not be live because I don't know, it's just too boring for me. I'd rather be live. So. All right, and then what time was the first strike at? So first strike, we had the first winner for that. This was beautiful, by the way. Oh my gosh. This was at wow, yeah, this was at 10:22. Oh my gosh, it was during the Hydra macro too. It makes a lot of sense why it worked out. So yeah, 10:22. What up, Kirk? So I'm just recording my notes, my journal. I'm journaling the second trade that I took right now. So right now I'm saying genuinely beautiful trade. One of the best trades I've taken in a long time. The idea was simple. I was bullish on the higher time frame since it was a macro buy model. So I was looking for lower time frame AMD. We had the 1P FEG with the 1P FEG below at around equilibrium, below the range. So I saw that as a good place for price to possibly manipulate. Once we got the CISD off of it, I entered and we had really good liquidity above. Very simple trade, but yet so beautiful. So beautiful. Very proud of that. So once again, Reflect IQ not working. I don't know why. Whatever. I guess it's just down right now, which is fine. That's why I have my own journal. So, okay, I think we're good on recording that. Now we can just review the market in general. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to do. I got it recorded. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at what we had going on today and what we can learn. So, and yeah, we're just gonna start taking notes. Literally, whatever we find, we're gonna mark it up. We're gonna take notes, and then I'll make the market recap, and that'll be it. Shouldn't be too long honestly, because yeah, I just want to get faster at doing these because I gotta be able to get enough sleep, and yeah. All right, so a lot of really interesting opportunities today, in my opinion. One that I really liked was, well, first of all, let's frame out what happened on the higher time frame. So on the higher time frame, we had essentially a previous day's low SMT, right? We had previous day's low SMT, which was right here, and we had inversed. Let's go. Where is it? Yeah, on the higher time frame, we had previous day's low SMT, and then we had inversed a essentially 12-hour fair value gap, right? And we had back tested this. So you took the trade, Kirk? Oh my gosh, that's awesome, dude. That's so legendary. I mean, it was light bulb, right? I feel like genuinely that was one of the most light bulb trades we've had in a long time. It was beautiful. So, right at the very bottom, we had a previous week's low SMT, and then a sweep of previous week's low. So this was at the very bottom, and it was essentially in a It was essentially in a 4-hour gap. Essentially, that was the key level that I saw, right? This was it, like, right from here. Yeah, kind of doesn't have to be perfect, but, like, maybe call it 6-hour gap, right? Or maybe 8-hour. But yeah, right, this is still a gap. I guess you can mark it out like this, alright? So, 4-hour BPR. So first we'll mark this out, right? This was the higher time frame model. And so because of this higher time frame model that I had marked out, I was essentially thinking, okay, we're probably drawing to the rest of this LRLR. So I was thinking, okay, higher time frame, probably still bullish because of this, previous week's low sweep, and we're delivering from a BPR, and then we had a 12-hour inverse value gap. Did that just go brighter? Bro, what? Why did that just go brighter? What the heck? Okay, so let's go ahead and screenshot this. Once again, S&P's kind of just in the way right now, so we're just going to make this smaller. So if you can't see it yet, right, accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. Right, accumulation, manipulation, and then, yeah, distribution. So, where's manipulation? Okay. So let's mark this out as the model, right? So I'm going to mark this out as higher time frame model, and then once again, here's LRLR that we could be drawing to. We'll see. Snipping this. Okay. All right, saving this as possible higher time frame model, right? And then we had previous day's low SMT at those lows, and then we ended up having a London SMT actually, and it was with this low. So this was 4 a.m. So we already know that that's previous day's SMT is there, right? Let's get rid of all that now. Then we ended up having the low at 4 a.m. and the low at 8 a.m. create an SMT. So now we actually kind of need this back. So 4 a.m., 8 a.m. And so this was a SMT with London low. And then at this point I was like, okay, I like being bullish here. Unfortunately, actually, you know what? I did not say that. I was trying to short. But we live and learn, right? So London SMT right here, and then we end up getting a beautiful 15-minute inversion. I mean, yeah. So yeah, accumulation, manipulation, 5-minute change in state, distribution. And the really beautiful thing about this today, guys, the really beautiful thing is what happened is we perfectly tap consequent encroachment of the rejection block on the 1 minute. Like, it is genuinely one of the most perfect things ever. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean. So there's that. And I think we dipped below midnight as well. Yep, we dipped below midnight. That's how you can tell that it's a pretty good SMT, right? If we dip below midnight, and we do. And we also dip below 7:30, right? We dip below both. So we could even mark this out, right? We get a dip below 7:30 on the opposite side of the curve. So that's another confluence for going long on the opposite side of the curve, right? So here's true day open. Here's 7:30, which is true session open. And yeah, from here we distribute. You see how perfect this was? Accumulation, manipulation, below those time levels, and then distribution. And honestly, guys, in hindsight, if I was a perfect human being, I would have loved to take that 5-minute changing state. I think that would have been just beautiful. Unfortunately, I'm not, but... Alright, let's go ahead and screenshot this. Right, so London S&T and AMD. So, once again, right, if I could have, I would have liked to have essentially had a 1 hour gap, I think, right? Was it a 1 hour gap or a 1 hour something else? Maybe you could consider it this 1 hour breaker. Let's just say that we do consider this 1 hour breaker. This is just experiment, right? Yeah, it's pretty clear that that 1 hour breaker was actually pretty strong. So 1 hour breaker, and then so yeah, 1 hour breaker. Maybe you can consider this. Maybe you consider this. It might be more obvious. Honestly, it's more obvious as a 15-minute gap, if I'm being real. So 15-minute gap. I don't like using breakers that much, to be honest. 15-minute gap. And then, 1 minute change in state. That was probably a really good entry. Yeah. Right. So once again, 15-minute gap, S&T with that low, and then liquidity sweep here. And what time was this at? 8:48. So this is going into the macro. Look at that. Just observe the time that this happens, right? The time. Pay attention to the time. Are we going into a macro? Yes, we are. It's a 1 minute change in state aligned with a 2022 gap. So 1 minute change in state. Unfortunately, don't go below midnight, but it's just because the market was just so bullish at this point. So 1 minute, and then measure out the displacement from high to low. You can see how we do tap discount and equilibrium. So there's equilibrium, bang. And then mark this out as the 2022 fair value gap, right? 2022 model fair value gap. Just beautiful. See how everything lines up, guys? So 15-minute gap, 1 minute change in state. And this is going into the macro, right? Macro occurs from here to here. I'm not going to mark it out, but we know where the macro happens, right? It kind of feels like there's a lot on the chart here, but it's just trying to prove a point, right? 15-minute London S&T, 1 minute. And then we can measure our standard deviation. Actually, let's clean up the chart a little bit. Let's clean up the chart. 2, 3. Wow, just look at those standard deviations, guys. Wow. And then once again, I would definitely consider targeting the third, which would have been right above those highs. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And you see how that would have perfectly marked that top. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit, right? Because I hate how chaotic this is. Let's get rid of the premium discount. Let's get rid of... This is kind of in the way. Okay. So yeah, 1 minute change in state, 2022 fair value gap, true day open, equilibrium. Let's just say that we took it like this, right? Where we entered at the change in state, stop at the low. Once again, I think this would have been so beautiful. I wish I could catch these live. Sometimes I'm just disappointed. Like, how do I not see these live? But you know what? It is what it is. And then, right. See that? And then LRLR up all the way up here. Very, very clean. So this would be a flow state. 15 minute, 1 minute. Perfect. Oh, man, it's kind of chaotic. Okay. Then equilibrium. Then the 1 minute change in state. Okay, let's screenshot this. So I want to show you guys how that Phoenix model ended up being the exact low, because I think that's so fascinating. Right? So this was, 842, 842, flow state, retest, 15 minute gap, 1 minute, 1 minute, whatever, 1 minute, change in state, retest. And as well, guys, I personally think, I don't know what key level would have been nice to align it with on the 1 hour, but I personally think since this is such obvious AMD, I would definitely consider just taking this as a 5 minute change in state of delivery. Like, I don't even care if there's a key level or not, because this is super obvious to me that we're going to go higher when we have accumulation. Now, there probably was a 1 hour key level I could have aligned it with, but once again, like, sometimes you just don't see it, and here, like, it's just very obvious when we get this 5 minute momentum candle that we're going to go higher. So I would honestly take this like this, right, where we have a change in state of delivery. So I just call this a 5 minute CISD close, and then 5 minute CISD close. Amazing momentum, right? Amazing. And then you could just target this high, and then I'd probably put stop loss like here. That's a 1.84, and obviously you could scale out, but man, I guess you might end up. This is interesting because you could take it like this at 1-to-1, and then you get stopped at break even, and then it'd go to the final TP. I'm not sure what's best, to be honest, but maybe scale off some and then leave the runners. I don't know, but yeah, right. This was clean, so I definitely would consider taking a trade like this. Yeah, and then you could even leave runners, but 1.6, nothing wrong with that, to be honest. Amazing momentum candle. I'm going to actually make a note of that, right? What up, Javier? So once again, guys, I don't care that there's not a key level here. I would literally just, because this is obvious AMD, I would take this just as a change in state, right? Amazing momentum candle, 5-minute change in state, bang, up to that LRLR. And then further, you could leave a runner if you wanted to, but I think 1.6R in this situation, totally fine. So this is a 850. And once again, I'd probably scale out. I don't, or maybe I just take all off at 1R. Not exactly sure. But if I held it to this, then that would be 1.6. But there's a good chance I'd get stopped at break even, right? And that's fine. So 850, CISD close, and this was on the 5-minute. Okay, I have to go use the bathroom, guys, and then we'll keep going. But this was nice. This was really nice. And then we'll look at that Phoenix model at the low. That was beautiful. All right, let's keep going. Once again, guys, this is the whole situation of to go break even or not to go break even, right? Because there's times like this where it's very obvious it's higher time frame AMD, and you should be able to just hold and be fine. But also, it's very rare for us to go run this high, come back to break even, and then continue. So, I'd probably assume this would just be scale out, break even type of trade, which is okay. But it's just good to know that in the future, in situations like this with high conviction, you could just hold. Yeah, so exactly, right? No break even. Personally, this is why we backtest, right? Because we have conviction that this is AMD. We have obvious SMT with London lows, and by the time we come up here, it'd been 15-minute change in state. So we had a lot of conviction that this, at least I think it did, right? That this would just keep going higher. And so this is one of those situations where higher time frame always rules, and you could target that fourth standard deviation and very possibly be fine. But obviously I would scale out. But yeah, look at that. Bang. That's 5R, right? It's really hard to hold that though, I'm not gonna lie. But it was really obvious. It was really obvious AMD, you know what I mean? Really obvious. So we're gonna make another note of this. If you haven't reached target, just move stop loss invalidation, in this case below order block that validated the CISD. If you haven't moved order block that validated the CISD. Okay, yeah, so right there. That's where it already is, I think. But yeah, pretty cool. Let's go ahead and screenshot this once again. Same exact thing, flow state closed, but this time, this would be an example of if the final TP could have been at that fourth standard deviation, and that would have hit. Very, very cool. And once again, why do we have so much conviction in this? Because it's SMT with midnight, guys. Let's actually mark that out. Why so much conviction? Because SMT with midnight is OP, right? We know when we have SMT with midnight, it's just gonna be like, it's gonna be like Thor's hammer, dude. This thing ain't stopping for anything. We don't care. We are, if we have SMT with midnight, I'm holding that. I'm holding that guy. I'm not giving a crap. I'm not giving a crap if it hits break even. I'm not going break even because this is Thor's hammer right here, right? SMT with midnight, that's literally Thor's hammer. I'm not getting in the way, guys. I mean, this right here, it's an immovable force, or move. I don't know. You get what I'm saying, right? This ain't stopping. This ain't stopping. So I'm not going break even when we have SMT with midnight. Right? See what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and screenshot this. Right? SMT with midnight. Just don't get in its way. Don't get in its way. So this was, once again, 850 flow state close, or CISD close, 5 minute, and then number 2, right? Second version of that trade. Okay, once again, guys, I want to talk about that flow state model at the very bottom. I think that was awesome. Like, we just have a 1 minute rejection block. We get SMT. I marked this out live. I did not take it, but in hindsight, if I did take it, it would have been like 30R, right? Just so beautiful. We were below midnight. We had the London SMT. There was a lot of reasons to possibly take this. And I maybe should have been more open-minded to taking a half-risk entry or something, right? Because this is why I give myself more opportunities every day, so I can be open-minded to taking these trades that I normally wouldn't take, that would be higher RR, that I know I'm able to catch. Because look at this, right? If I simply just had a limit order for consequent encroachment, I would have bottom-ticked this, right? Because we still have the London SMT. We would have been below midnight. off of this 5-minute rejection block. And you could even wait for 30-second confirmation. But, yeah, if you entered at the consequent encroachment, like I said, or even if you entered on the first one, but let's say you took it as an inducement of this low, which would have been super high probability. I mean, this is one to be open-minded to even taking on half risk, right? Because that's just such a big trade to get that if you can even just hit this on half risk, it's going to be huge, right? We induce this low into the whatever. Just genuinely beautiful. Genuinely. So, once again, we're below midnight. So, we're going to mark this out as Phoenix models below midnight are super nice. See that? Let's go ahead and screenshot that. For those, I would use the fib on the wick and enter at the 0.61. That is smart too. And I had a dream about this last night. I kid you not, bro. It sounds crazy, but I had a dream last night. And Powell Trade was in the room with me. And he's like, bro, Phoenix model, in like his deep voice and stuff. He's like, Phoenix model, you know, you can enter on the consequent encroachment. That's great. But have you ever thought about entering below consequent encroachment for even higher RR? And in the dream, I literally came up with this idea, like theoretically, right? The further down below consequent encroachment, the more the RR goes to infinity. Like, this is such a stupid thing. I know it's a stupid thing, but just hear me out, right? Like you could take a tiny little scalp here, and that's 31, you know? I don't know if that made any sense, I'm not even gonna lie, but I think you get what I'm saying, right? Below, you could even do below consequent encroachment, like you said, at the 0.618, and that's even higher RR. Very cool. I don't know, I have weird dreams. But yeah, this is kind of crazy because I called this out live. I did. Once again, did not take it, which is fine, but in the future, would consider taking this on half risk. Let's actually make a note of that. Or maybe on a quarter risk, right? Sure, maybe I take this on maybe like 1/4 risk. Honestly, just 1/4 risk. Why not? I mean, it's nice. So, 823 Phoenix Mini, 823 Phoenix Mini, because I'm entering at the consequent encroachment, not the regular Phoenix model. But you could have entered it at the regular Phoenix model too if you wanted to. And then there's a whole bunch of different ways to take the same exact trade. I'm not going to go through all of them. We get the idea. Right? There's probably like alright, no, this is a 1-minute rejection block. Yeah. Whole different bunch of ways to take this exact same trade, and that's fine. Like, what I mean is, like, maybe you could have entered on the 5-minute rejection block, the 15-minute rejection block. You could have entered on a change state delivery out of the rejection block. I'm not going to go through all of them. The point is that this was an opportunity, and however you take it, that's honestly up to your own interpretation and the way you see the charts in that moment. So 824, Phoenix Mini, and this is, 1 minute. Bang. That looks about right. Doesn't need to be the perfect time. I guess it was 823, but anyway, 822. Okay. Save. Alright, let's look at something else we have not looked at yet. Right? Yeah, just very clear AMD. And Yeah, it's important to have the bias right on a day like this. And the way we get the bias right is paying attention to midnight. We got to pay more attention to midnight. I really do think it's so important. Midnight's going to tell you the manipulation. Midnight, M for M. That's insane. That's insane, Javier. But yeah, the way we got to be able to, on days like today, like when I'm unsure of the bias, pay super close attention to SMT and midnight because it's gonna be the map. It's gonna be your roadmap for the bias for the day. Or what was the word I used before? Map? It wasn't map. It was manipulation. Midnight is the map for the manipulation. Midnight. Okay, hang on. Midnight and SMT is your roadmap. I'm just gonna call it that. Midnight and SMT will give amazing bias. If ever unsure, refer to it if it is in the chart. See what I'm saying? And then we could have just taken longs all through here the entire time. And guys, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that happen. It's just crazy. It happens all the time. SMT and midnight gives amazing bias. So at this point, right, there's probably a lot more opportunity. I probably can't go through everything because I don't have time. I gotta move on, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, when we get to the other side of the curve here, it's very clear that the market was algorithmically delivering price. And what do I mean by that? Well, every single fair value gap is supporting price. Every single gap. This is what I mean when I say the market's algorithmically moving towards where it wants to go. Every single gap supports price towards that idea. Every single gap. And so when this happens, it's like, okay, the algorithm is on. The algorithm is on, guys. ICT turned the algorithm on. Just kidding. I'm kidding, but you get what I'm saying, right? This is exactly what you want to see when the market is delivering price in a certain direction. And which way the market is delivering price. Every FEG continues to hold. Oh man. What else do we look at? I mean, there's a million opportunities in the day. It's just kind of how you interpret. Like there's a million different ways to interpret trades within how these markets move, and it's just amazing. Oh, great, I'm getting tired, dude. This is not what I wanted. But it sucks because I'm working so hard, and then it's only Monday. It's only Monday, and I'm getting tired. It's not good. It's not good. But we gotta keep going. So, yeah. I also find it fascinating. We probably hit the 8th standard deviation. Yeah, looks like we do. Why do we stop where we did? That is something that I'm curious about. Why did we stop where we did and not continue to go around that LRLR? Because I thought that we would, but we didn't. And there probably was a reason. We did have a rejection block here. Yeah. This is interesting, right? Look at this rejection block. So, the rejection block that came before this entire dump, this rejection block ended up being very strong. This is interesting. This is the first time I've really seen this, but look at this, right? The rejection block where is that? The rejection block that came before this entire dump ended up being very strong. Interesting. Kind of like how an order block before a final dump is really strong. You know? I might end the stream here soon, and not necessarily now, but in a second, and then I might make the market recap soon because, I don't know, I just got to get going. 50-minute rejection block that came before the dump was very strong. And then, you know, off of this, we have a higher time for PD raise, so we could probably take a 1-minute change in state. Oh gosh, that is just perfect. You guys see why I like the Jake trades the entry, right? You see what the Jake not Jake trades the entry. I'm not calling it that. The sniper model entry where you just measure out the change in state and then OTE of it, bro. It's just crazy. Oh my gosh. The sniper model is crazy. Sniper model is crazy, guys. Cause what? I don't think this ain't never gonna stop, dude. That's crazy, man. So we induced these highs, these equal highs, into the sniper model entry. Yeah, this ain't ever stopping. And then, wow, oh my gosh, right? 15-minute rejection block, sniper entry, 1-minute change in state. We can measure this out like this, and then let's target the 4th. You could even target the 7th. Dude, once again, why is the 7th better than the 8th? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why the 7th is better than the 8th, but so much of the time we go to the 7th and not the 8th. I find that really weird, but that's just what I observe, dude. The 7th is better. The 7th is better. I don't know why. The 7th is better. I've seen this happen so many times. I don't understand it. It's just weird. So, anyway, you see how this is a sell model? Curious if we had bearish SMT. I'm not going to check YM. I'm way too lazy. But if there's SMT with ES, we'll check it. higher high, higher high. I actually don't even know if there is SMT. This kind of looks like not SMT. Unless it was. Is it equal highs? No, it's equal highs. Well, anyway, still, right? I still think this is cool. Look at how this is such an interesting sort of price action, right? Everyone's trying to long, and you gotta fade the longs here. You gotta fade the longs. Everyone's trying to long. You gotta fade the longs. Right, inducement into this high. Where'd it go? Oh, it's an inducement. I just called it inducement box. Right. So yeah. So once again, with these higher RR trades, the move is always just do probably like half risk or quarter risk or something. Or maybe just take it on my options account or something like that. But I do think that these are very nice. I just like to mark them out because they're so perfect. So what is this? Oh, and so you might be wondering, where's the AMD though? Where's the AMD though? Where's the AMD? And well, and actually we do have SMT with this high. Oh, this is a weird SMT though. I'm not even going to mark it. It's not obvious. Okay. 1133. Once again, this is not a conventional obvious trade, but I just like marking stuff out like this because it's very perfect. It is objectively very perfect. 1133, sniper, 15 minute, 1 minute. Pretty cool. Okay. Let's get rid of everything. I mean, you just get to the point where you're right here, and it just honestly, it just looks like there's much more sell side liquidity than buy side. I don't know. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I guess I want to. Okay, now I got both of them up. Yeah, today was really clean. I don't know why people don't like No News Mondays, but it was clean. One thing that we did have that I really do like, we actually had 2 different Phoenix models. Check this out, right? We have 5-minute rejection block here with SMT. This is pretty cool. That's not what I wanted. Five-minute rejection block here with SMT with this high. It might have been 90-minute SMT. But we gotta do the math. 12 o'clock, 1:30. Alright, yeah, look at this, dude. Well, wait. Nah. Anyway, it's partial 90-minute SMT. So, 5-minute rejection block. And 30-second change in state. And you know, it's always better if we come down first. Now you can measure out this here, right? Now you got a 2022 gap with a volume imbalance. What's that? That's the backboard, right? That's the backboard. Anytime you got a volume balance chilling behind a 2022 gap, it's going to be ultra sensitive, right? So I love this 30-second change of state off of this 5-minute rejection block with SMT. Surprised we did not induce the high further, but still pretty cool. I'll probably make the market recap pretty soon. And then yeah. Let me guess. I'm not even gonna look yet. But we go to the 4th. Called it. I know these markets so well. Dude. I don't even need to know. I don't even need to look at it. I can just see it before it happens. We went to the 4th. Perfectly. Right? We backtest the sniper entry, go to the 4th. It's the same thing every time, guys. It's the same thing. It's like, I've played this game before. I know the tricks. You can't trick me. I've played this game too many times. I know what to expect because I've seen it all before. Can't trick me. No, you can't. Nope. Can't trick me. Sniper model entry right there. Bang. Right? I'm going to mark it out. I'm not going to show that you had to take it like that. But still, pretty cool. Right? And what happened when was this? When was this, guys? When? Time and price. Oh my gosh. When did this occur? When? The macro. Who would have thought? That maybe these markets are perfect? Maybe they're perfect. Who would have thought? Right? When does this happen? Right? From the sniper entry. So 5-minute PD ray, sniper model entry right here. 90-minute sweep. Now there's a sniper entry. 30-second change of state off the backboard. Down to the 2nd. Bang. Down to the 4th. Bang. And guess what else, guys? Guess what else? Now I'm losing my train of thought. Wait, what was I looking up? What was I thinking? Not gonna lie, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, the macro. Right? When did this happen? 1450? When did their price move happen? 1450. Give or take a few minutes. There's the macro, right? Coincidence? No. Not a coincidence at all. That the move that when did it happen? Right during the macro. So, pretty cool. Now, obviously, it's not perfect, but still pretty good to the point where you're like, that's pretty good. Whoops. I guess we should mark out the macro exactly as it's supposed to be, but still. You have to admit that's a pretty accurate area to anticipate the price run to occur, you know? Yeah. Wow. Sorry guys, I get carried away really easily. I think I gotta be done, dude. I think I gotta be done. I just don't have that much time, and I gotta get moving on. So I'm gonna go ahead and film it, and then we always have more time to backtest on the weekend. So, but unfortunately, right now, I do not have that time. So that sucks, but it is what it is. 1448. Flow state. Retest. 5-minute, 30-second. On Monday. Okay. I'm going to save it. I'm going to end the live stream, guys. I don't know how long this was, but I got to make the market recap. I'd rather just have consistency and wake up tomorrow with motivation, and it's gonna be exponentially harder on Wednesday and then Thursday and then Friday, but we're gonna keep going. Do my best. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this market recap. We're gonna keep going one day at a time. See you guys in the next one. Peace out. First of all, let's actually check it, see if anyone's watching. Probably not, but maybe. Maybe. 1. Alright, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.